All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Anton on One podcast. My name's Anton Fausto. For the ambitious and anxious young Filipino, if you guys are going through a quarter-life crisis just like me, you'd want to listen to this one. I had the pleasure of meeting her when I was in La Union, and I was really interested by our conversation, by what she does. And since this is my first episode, as a 25-year-old, I feel like we'll see, baka iba na yung brain ko this episode compared to last week. I'm not 100% sure I have the skills to completely and accurately welcome the guest and say her credentials and like let her and tell you guys who she is. So I think it's better that she does it herself. Welcome my guest, Carms. What's up?
Hello. Hi, I'm Carms. That's what everybody calls me, Carms. And do I just say like what I do?
Yeah.
Do I, like introduce myself?
When you have a random tita that asks, "Oh, Carms, what do you do now?" How do you answer that question?
You know, that's funny because like when I first quit college,
okay, we're getting into it. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, no, that's funny because like when I first quit college, I was so scared of telling titas that I had quit college. Mm-hmm. And so every time a tita would ask me like, "Hey, like, what are you doing? Like, are you in school?" I would be like, well, I'm taking a break right now. But I don't know, maybe I'll go back because I would not want to go through the whole conversation of them being like, "You should really go back to school." But yeah, I am a college dropout. Mm-hmm. And I work for a local brand called Munimuni. We make clothes and shoes, mainly using natural materials, so like abaca, dead stock fabric, and some other like Filipino textiles like Inabel. So yeah, that's what I do. I work for them. I handle the creative side. So usually content, like if we have to post something or make content for a specific product, I handle that.
Mm-hmm. You do the social media side of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And you forgot to mention
I used to handle logistics. Oh yeah.
I think that's the one a lot of people would know if there are people who follow you. And I saw you have a TikTok also. I saw you a lot on Instagram, on not your Instagram, but a lot of other people's Instagram. A lot of people's I would say in Metro Manila, if you have an Instagram store, if you're in the Metro Manila social circle,
so true,
and then you have an Instagram store, there are around 5 models that are there, and you're one of them.
That is so true.
I wanna backtrack. You already mentioned it, how you left college. Let's go to the chronology, to the timeline of this. Okay, so what year was this, and how old were you when you made that decision? Because you entered college first, right? You were there for like a couple of years.
Yeah. I left college in 2019. It was just not a great experience. Like
Sorry, how old were you?
20.
Okay.
I was 20. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not growing. Therefore, I'm not doing it. And I'm not going to just keep doing it for the sake of getting a degree. And, you know, like, I don't know. It was just too much. And it didn't make sense to me. And at the same time, it's like you're paying to be there. And my dad was paying for my education. And so I was like, I would just be wasting his money if I continued to stay. Mm-hmm. And when I had this conversation with my dad, what he told me was, I'm not going to force you, because if I do, you're just going to end up doing something you don't want to do. And you're going to half-ass it, which is exactly what he doesn't want. But yeah, it was crazy. I was scared. I was a scared 20-year-old.
I want to know more. How did you get into that thought process and actually making that decision? Because I understand nga. I agree that it's something that you pay for. A lot of the things in school, actually, I'm not a fan of. I don't really like studying. I don't like the patience and all the stuff you have to do just to get through college. But then at the same time, I was raised in the traditional Filipino Catholic household, and I agree with it that, you know, if you gotta get a college degree, like no matter what, parang career you'd want, especially me, even if I'm doing media, I'm doing dance fitness, I'm doing different things left and right. Parang my specific course isn't super directly what I do naman in my job, but it's one of those quote unquote rules of the game. And I was like, yeah, I just gotta
Yeah,
play
no,
this.
I
Just
understand.
wait it a few more years, ganun. But then, how did you, before even asking about how you had that conversation with your dad, how did you have that conversation with yourself na you'd actually do this in Metro Manila?
Yeah. I remember just being in a really bad headspace. And I mean, growing up, school for me was always super challenging,
Mm-hmm.
mainly because I wasn't interested. And I guess maybe I didn't have teachers that were, like pushing me and inspiring
Fit for
me.
your style.
Yeah. So, and I'm a very hands-on learner. I learned a lot based on experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so with school, I felt like I was so boxed in that I had to meet a specific criteria to
Mm-hmm.
like show that I know this much about something, which I didn't like because I feel like everybody learns differently and we're all into different things. I was just so tired of thinking that I wasn't going to be able to do anything like without a degree. And I guess maybe I was trying to prove something to myself and prove something to others that I can do this, I can do it, and I will. And so I was just like, yeah.
I can relate to you there. There's the thing that you have to prove. Like if
Yeah.
I went to the more traditional route of graduating college, but even in that traditional route, I took the untraditional route of like freelancing and doing this type of career. But even
Mm-hmm.
then, I faced the challenge of like I gotta prove myself. I'm doing something
Yeah.
different from what my course mates are doing, what my batchmates are doing. How were those first days for you? Like when you made the decision and you left, how was that first day? Because mas lalong walang blueprint or like parang clear path on like what steps
Oh
you should
yeah,
take.
no, definitely. I was scared. And I still am.
Uh-huh.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still scared. Like there are days where I think like, shit, should I have finished school? Like, was this the wrong move? But the thing with me is kasi like I know, like I always tell myself that everything is temporary. And so even if at that moment I felt so scared, I knew that I was telling myself that I'll be okay, like in the future. Like this will pass and I'll figure it out and I will be okay. And I guess I also had this conversation with my friend maybe like a few months after I had quit school, and she was like, she's in school. So I was trying to get her perspective on the whole like decision. And she was like, whether or not you finish school, we're all gonna start on the same playing field. It like everybody starts somewhere. Like nobody knows what they're gonna be doing, even with a degree.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that made me feel so much better because she's in school and yet she still feels the same way.
Yeah.
So even if you do have a degree, there is no guarantee that you're gonna be able to do something with it. And don't get me wrong, I feel like school is great. Guys stay in school, but um, but at the same time, it's not for everyone. Not everyone learns that way, and I don't know. The curriculum's outdated as hell.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, what the heck?
Very interesting take. I agree with you though, with the sense that even if you have a degree, everyone, even if you have a degree, even if you're old, even if you're people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and up, I think we're all kind of lost to a certain degree. Like
Exactly, right?
no one, and no, my favorite quote actually with all of those, whenever I get anxious, whenever I get worried, is that no one's gonna make it out of this alive. Like nobody alive
Exactly.
is gonna make it out of this alive. So
Exactly.
honestly, respect. I can't see myself doing the same thing you did, but then respect for you to be able to take that step. I always looked at myself like, wow, ang galing ko. I took this step. I'm freelancing, ganyan. But mas kaya na your step. But when you took that step, when you left school and then you're figuring it out, was there a moment? Have you reached that moment when you're like, you know what? Okay, I'm so happy I did this decision that I quote unquote saved years of my, kasi that's not just the money of your dad that you're saving, but it's also your time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what you would have spent it in
Exactly.
school, in the classroom. But was there a moment? Is there a specific like moment, or is it more of like a gradual thing that you kind of got the hang of it and you were confident that okay, this is the right decision for you?
I think it was definitely when I started working for Munimuni.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when I started there and I met my boss, as it went on, I was so proud of myself for leaving school. I was like, you know what? See, this is exactly what I was telling myself. Like, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna figure it out. And I did. Because I feel like oftentimes we forget about how far we've come because we're just so caught up in like the hustle of it all. And like, I took a step back and I analyzed and looked at where I was now. And I was like, shit, I did that. I did that. And I don't regret my decision at all. Yeah.
Right now, I forgot to ask you. So how old are you right now?
I'm 22.
Okay, 22. As a 22-year-old, I hear this a lot, I read this a lot, that when you're in your 20s, parang money or the financial aspect shouldn't be the main, like shouldn't be your main priority. Like don't work just to earn money at this stage of our lives.
Yeah.
Like you should
I
get
agree.
experience, you should meet people, learn. It's more about the learning. But then as a 22-year-old and you're independently living now, you actually moved to the beach, and are you paying for your daily expenses and for your children, your pets? Are you still getting allowance?
I actually stopped getting allowance from my dad last year.
Okay.
So it's been a while. I pay for my own rent. I pay for my own bills. Thankfully, my dad still pays for like the food of the animals because, when I got them, I was still living with him. So it was kind of a automatic thing.
Okay.
Other than that, I kind of pay for a lot. Like if I want to buy something, I got to pay for it, I mean, I don't want to ask my dad because that's for money.
Yeah, I get that
and I
though.
guess, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, and don't get, like, I'm young. Like, I have a bad spending problem. Like, especially when I was in Manila. Nabubudol ako, like, with clothes. And so I was spending a lot of money. And I knew for the longest time that I had a problem with handling money. And so, when I was deciding to move here, one of the things I was thinking was, if I move there, I'm going to be forced to like spend my money wisely, make sure I pay my bills.
Yeah. And so you can eat.
And yeah, exactly. Like my own food, like I'm surviving. Yeah. But like, oh my God, it's scary. Being an adult is scary.
It is. I was gonna say nga na at least if you did the more traditional, parang may mga years, you get like bonus years if you're in college. Like, okay, since you're still studying, like everybody expects you to still be on the payroll of daddy. But I was gonna ask that, okay, so as in your 20s, but I try to make it my main priority, guys. It's not the money, it's the experience, it's the lessons.
Yeah, definitely.
But the money has a real effect there. Like no matter how many quotable quotes and tweetable tweets we tell ourselves and we read about how money's just a number, money doesn't buy happiness. It does. I mean, no, it does. I think money buys you peace. Like you need to have enough for you to be able to like go out and do those other what life is all about and shit. But
definitely.
How did you deal with that need na you're here to learn, you're gonna grind, trying to make a name for yourself, trying to figure out what industry, what work you like, but at the same time, now that you're living alone also, you really gotta make some bread.
I know. To be honest, I'm still figuring that out. But like, I don't know, because I feel like now that I live alone, I'm constantly reminded that each peso that I spend is, it matters. It truly matters, because if not, I'm not gonna have any money.
Yeah.
And I think about this a lot, like, oh my God, am I gonna become broke? Like, what if I don't pay my bills on time? But ever since I moved here, then kasi, I feel like my lifestyle's changed. Like I'm not spending on so much useless stuff, like clothes and God knows what. Because like back then, I literally would spend anything.
Is
But
clothes
at
your
the times,
clothes the number one? Your number one expense?
yeah,
Clothes talaga.
dude. Lalo na yung mga IG shops.
Wait, but isn't that what you get for modeling? Like you get paid for modeling, and then like don't they give you like free clothes too?
Yeah. Well, sometimes depends.
But you'd still buy.
Yeah, well, because I have my own taste naman din, you know.
Okay,
And I guess like in the city, I don't know, you're like drawn to spend, diba?
Okay. When I was in La Union,
But here,
when I was in La Union, I wasn't living there kasi I was kind of on vacation. But I spent.
yeah.
It was only like 2 weeks after the trip, I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll sit down and I'll look at my expenses. Then I thought, oh shit, that was too much. That is a little too much. But sorry, anyway, you're saying.
No, but yeah, like on the days where I'm like, holy shit, like, am I gonna be able to sustain this lifestyle? I kind of just tell myself, like I said, I'm very go with the flow. Like, I'm literally the epitome of bahala na.
Okay. But there has to be like a science there. Like there's with the whole bahala na I'm gonna leave college. Like when I hear that story a lot of like Mark Zuckerberg, like left college.
Yeah.
Kanye left college. Ganyan. But that's like a tiny, not even a 1%, like a really tiny ass percentage of the people who go through school. But after you make that scary decision of leaving college, we could think that people could think that the hardest part about leaving college is leaving college. But I think the hardest part is the everyday that follows after that. So have you kind of picked up at this point, like what essential skills have you been forced to, or like you learned to use to actually, continue on?
Oh my gosh, socializing.
Okay.
You know, meeting people.
You're
and
very good
talking
at that,
to
I'd say,
people.
no?
I mean, on like, if you think so, I personally don't think I'm so good at it.
Oh, that's good. That's a good mindset to
Yeah,
have.
like,
keep improving.
yeah. I don't think I'm that good at it because I'm an introvert, or actually, yeah, I like being alone. I enjoy being alone. Maybe it's an only child thing.
You're forced to, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's another thing. Like, I've just been so used to being alone. I think talaga it's rooted like back into like when I was a kid, like growing up. My parents raised me to be really independent. I didn't really have a yaya. Pagkakain, hugas ng pinggan. And my mom says not from a very well-off family. So her side of the family, they live in the province. And so I was exposed to that. I was exposed to two different lifestyles, basically. One where we live super comfortably, and another where it's like you really have to grind for your life. Like kailangan mo diskarte ka. Yeah. And I guess like a lot of that played into the way I think about things. Like I'm like, okay, kaya ko to. At saka kung hindi ko kaya, kakayanin ko. Kasi wala akong choice, di ba?
Whether or not you graduated or from college, I think that's an essential like thing to tell yourself. Those days when you feel like you're so tamad and you don't want to do anything and you don't want to do anything productive, and you just gotta tell yourself, like, just suck it up.
I have
like,
so many of those days.
Stop being a little bitch. Do you have any go-to?
Exactly.
Like when you're on your rock, like if I don't know if you've experienced this, I have these days, but pinakatamad and off days where I'm lying down on the bedroom floor talaga. There's something else. If you're lying down on the bed kasi, it's like, oh, it's rest, it's relaxing. But when I'm lying down on the floor, that's the one where it's like, I'm really lying down on the floor because I'm at the bottom.
I'm bumming, yeah.
Yeah, and then I have to, do you have any go-tos, like how to like pick yourself up from that? How to shift yourself, how to trick your mind or something to get out of that rut?
To me, when I'm feeling down, I usually give myself that time to feel down. And then I tell myself, okay, today you can feel like shit, but tomorrow you have to start again. Like you have to pick up from where you left off and you have to keep going. Because I mean, I don't know, like sometimes it gets tiring to pick yourself up. And I feel like I don't want to force myself to just be like, you know what, no, like I need to do this talaga, because to me, if I'm gonna feel like shit, I want to feel like shit. And then that's the time that's all I'm gonna give myself. And then tomorrow again, pick up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you learned to enjoy that sadness? That's something I'm still trying to figure out. That to enjoy
Yeah,
you have
dude.
to enjoy life for all its emotions. I used to just love the fun, the good, the party and stuff. But have you like learned to go through the sadness and actually enjoy the experience of going through those sadness and those off days?
Yeah. Yun nga, like when I feel like shit, I will feel like shit talaga. I'll put on sad music, I'll watch a sad movie,
You go through
and I'll go through it, because I feel like there's no other way. Like I can choose to like distract myself with something else, but that's only temporary.
Yeah.
Unless I give myself the time to actually face it.
Okay.
And I mean, it's fine. I think what I always tell myself, it's okay to be sad. It's okay not to be okay.
There's a lot of internal dialogue, I'd say, that's crucial with doing doing what you do. And it's good. I guess it helps that you enjoy being alone. When did you decide though? It's all about when your move to La Union naman. Like when did you decide to do that? It's honestly it's all on brand for me. Yeah. Like just the story so far. It's very on brand. Just I'm gonna do this. I wanna do it. Let's go do it.
Well, I remember coming to La Union for the very first time pre-pandemic. I was still in college then. And I just fell in love. And I feel like I've always known that I never really liked the city. Because growing up, my mom would always bring me to the province. And so
Which province is this?
I spent Samar. Yeah, it's literally an island in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, and so I don't know, I've always loved that life, the slow pace, provincial life, a simpler life, I'd say. I don't know, because the city was too much. I feel like it's too fast paced for me. It feels like I'm constantly competing with, other people, even people I don't know. And for me, it felt like such an unhealthy competition. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I love to compete with myself and, with others. But I feel like there's a healthy way of doing it without, putting other people down or making it negative. I just cannot. I can't do that. And I felt like in Manila, that's what it's all about. Like everyone one up in each other and oh hi darling. And so I told myself like I'm gonna move eventually. My original timeline was when I turn 25, I think I'll have enough money saved by then and I'm gonna move. And then the pandemic happened. And I was like, no, I'm moving right now.
So it was the pandemic. It was really the pandemic
yeah.
What's the name of this little?
That was one factor. Oh, this is Kiko. This is one of my children. He's naughty. He keeps going into the neighbor's house.
How many pets do you have with you again there?
I have 3 right now.
Is it 2 cats and a parrot?
It's a cat, a parrot, and a dog.
Cat, a parrot, and dog. Wait, sorry, going back. You're talking about when you moved to La Union, you left the beach. I want to be able to concretize that and break it down. Like, I understand that the whole like you feel like you're competing with each other. How I sort of remedied that is I think it's Instagram stories. No matter as much as I love Instagram and I love me some mindless Instagram story scrolling, I think that could indirectly be one of the main culprits of that toxic mentality and that pressure of like, oh my gosh. Because when you post stuff, you mostly post the good stuff. You post that, oh, I achieved this, ganyan. I'm so happy with this. which is great. Which is like, yo, for all means, like flex yourself, diba? Celebrate your accomplishments. But if you get to see the accomplishments of the people you haven't even talked to in like 5+ years, diba?
Exactly.
Is there anything else that you could like pinpoint that could sort of like add to that? I'm trying to say because I'm not living there. I'm still here in said toxic place that you were talking about. So I don't know, is it just Instagram stories or are there other things that parang, oh, I should be aware kasi baka I'm internally thinking that this is a whole competition with people who
Yeah.
aren't even like trying to compete with me.
Exactly. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think I think Manila is toxic in its own ways, and I feel like every place is.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that ever, like, I don't think you can run away from that.
Okay.
Like, every place has its own little thing. I don't know, because with Manila, I guess I just felt so trapped. It's not just like the people, it's also your surroundings. You know, you're constantly around buildings. The traffic is insane.
Okay, yeah. Easy.
Right?
Yeah.
And I love nature. Like, whenever I'm down, I feel like nature is the best way to heal myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard to do that in Manila, especially when the pandemic hit. Like, because pre-pandemic, you're kind of distracted. You have your own thing going on, and you know,
So just
there's
keep going,
no COVID.
There's a
Yeah,
routine and
diba?
just keep going.
Exactly. And then the pandemic hit, and I was just in my room, left with all these thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized, like, I think it's time for me to get out of here. And it brought out a bad side of me. I just was not in a good place.
And then when you move to La Union, new routines, I'd say new you and all those. Now I feel like we've had enough time there in it. Like in the parang if you talk about who you were in the pandemic, that could be a different person now because it's a pretty long time. Although we're still in the
Yeah.
pandemic, like it's still going on. Would you say that you've sort of like got your new routines and you kind of have do you feel like you're in a new season in your life now that you're living there?
Yes, definitely.
What are the biggest changes?
Definitely. I'm happier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lot happier. And to me, my happiness is something that is very important to me. Because if I'm not happy, then I can't keep going. Like, I can't do my job. I can't take care of my animals. I can't take care of myself. If you try to run away, I will sell you.
With cats, is it true? I heard na with a dog you can own a dog, but with a cat, the cat owns you.
Yeah, totally. He'll like wake me up at 5 a.m. and he'll be like, meow, meow, like feed me, and he won't stop.
Wow, pero love mo pa rin.
I love him so much.
I was gonna ask about this. More about the whole living in the beach. I think a lot of people, it's more uso now. Like there are a lot of people who've moved to Siargao. People moved to La Union. I know there's something who doing this. They work from Boracay. How feasible? How practical is it to leave your parents' home in Manila and go live independently on the beach? Like besides the whole, the obvious stuff are great, amazing fucking sunsets. That's for sure. You're by the beach. How is it like there? Like, how practical is it to live on your own by the beach?
I mean, living with your parents is definitely a lot easier because they get to pay for your own bills. And, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, all you really have to worry about is yung gastos mo, diba?
Yeah.
But, I mean, living in the beach din kasi it's probinsya, so, your bills aren't as expensive as compared to the city.
Do you cook?
So,
do you cook for yourself?
Yes, I cook.
That's a crucial thing then.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like, well, I don't know, maybe it's a preference, but you know how to clean after yourself. Ayaw mo naman din maging burara, diba?
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously living with your parents is still a lot better, especially if you're young and you don't have a lot of money saved up. Because all the bills are definitely gonna eat up your money, your savings.
Yeah.
But I think one thing to always like remember is that if you're gonna make a move, you need to be prepared for it.
Mhm.
Like you need to know that you're gonna be able to sustain yourself for at least the first couple of months.
Yeah. And if all else fails, are you still under the impression that if all else fails, uwi na lang ako? Or no, I gotta make
No,
it on my own.
yeah. My dad, before I left, he was like, "So what happens if you run out of money? You'll come home." And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna run out of money."
Oh. Okay, so you
And
really decided this as a 22-year-old.
yeah,
You're
I'm
fully decided
decided
this.
I want to live here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
How was when we talk about this whole moving to the beach thing? It sounds like a dream. Like a lot of people have that dream. I wanna get to dissect it a little more and see if it's really for. I don't know. I don't think that it's a lifestyle for everyone. But
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people, even those who aren't bagay for that lifestyle, still might think that this is the path that's for me. I'm still questioning it there, like because I love the beach and I love sunsets, and I guess in the pandemic, like it's normal that you feel like you don't have as much freedom now because if you just want to go out, it kind of risks your parents' health. Then like there are those factors
Yeah.
that go into it, but that won't be enough, kasi like just because I want to go out more. It's not enough for you to uproot yourself and move. Like that's a big boy. You gotta wear some
Yeah.
big pants to make that decision. Is it for everyone though? Like what type of in your experience? Like how has it fit with you that whole lifestyle that you have now?
I mean, probinsya, merong brownout. So
Yeah.
like
Oh, nga
now,
naman. Mm-mm.
so you need to be ready for that. Mainit. There's sometimes it gets really hot and you don't have electricity. I mean, there's places to hang out here. Sa gabi, walang tubig. So you need to be prepared for the worst.
Yeah.
Kailangan hindi ka maarte. Because, like, it's a different life. Like, living in the city kasi you're comfortable. You have your aircon, you have the comfort of
Wi-Fi
the convenience. Yeah, the convenience of it all. If you don't have internet, sige, pumunta ka na lang dun sa coffee shop. I mean, here, you can do that too. But yun nga, there are a lot of things that happen here that don't happen in the city. And you just gotta be prepared for that. And I feel like, if you're not that type of person, it's okay. There's no harm in trying it. You might actually adjust and, end up becoming that person.
Yeah.
Diba? I think it's just a matter of how far you're willing to go and what you're willing to go through.
How long have you lived here na pala?
A little over a month.
Oh, just over a month. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've been living there for a year, with the whole how sanay you are. So you're really still figuring it out.
Yeah, no, I really am. I'm super adjusting pa.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
What do you do on those days where it's really scary? Where it's really like, oh my gosh. Whether it's about living there. Because I'm really interested and curious, kasi your life experiences are those that require a huge threshold for like jumping into the unknown and just figuring things out along the way. Something that I try to do. But even as I jump into the unknown, I'm still very calculated about my moves. Like I still have those parang tendencies to listen to the anxious voice inside my head to sort of guide me. So in that when you face those very scary days and you're, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? Are there any questions that you ask yourself? Are there any like parang go-tos that you have that you tell yourself, or I don't know, practices that you do?
If I feel really anxious, I journal.
That shit helps.
Yeah, I journal, or I call a friend, or I call my dad. Just to help ease the anxiety. And oftentimes my friends remind me of why it is I moved here. Because sometimes you forget, like when you're super anxious, kinakain na lahat ng, anxiety. Like, sometimes it gets hard to tell yourself that it's going to be okay. So I always run to my friends or family, go through my journal, remind myself like how I was feeling back then and how I'm feeling now. And I don't know. To me, kasi it's all a matter of choosing your shit sandwich, right? Because even if you leave Manila, your problems will not go away. Like, they will follow you. You're just in a new place, maybe a place where it will help you deal with them easier, but they're still there. So, because that's what I was thinking also. Like, when I first moved, I was like, shit, like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be so much better over there. But then I realized, wait a minute, I can't run away from my problems. Like, I can't run away from the anxiety that I face in Manila. Like, it's gonna follow me because it's within me. But then after that, I'm just like, you know what? I would rather go through it here than over there.
I think this is where your power comes in, because in this journey of life, in this journey of the pandemic, also in the past years, I've become more aware of how there are a lot of things that you cannot control, but there are things that you can control as well. And when you said that your problems, I agree with you. Your problems follow you. You're just in a new place that could possibly help you deal with things better. Like, if I could just share this room, we just moved into this house like a month ago, and this is the first time I ever, like, my house before, it was the first house I ever lived in. So that's the only place I know which I can call home. But now I have this new place. And the thing was, this room before didn't have any curtains, and the paint was, it still smelled new, and I didn't feel like I could parang properly rest, kasi by the time it's 8 a.m. I'm already awake because the sunlight really went in. Like, those things are things that I could control. But when I got curtains, when I spent time, like, I opened the windows, I aired it out talaga. Those things that I could control sort of helped me deal with the problems that I challenges I face. So even if
Definitely.
so I think that whole moving to the beach, even if it sounds, it's a very big deal. It's like, wow, move to the beach. I'm gonna live at the beach. I'm gonna live at the beach. I think those are things that you could control if you're the type who wants to do this type of thing and move to the beach. That move is something in your control to change your environment, to help you solve your problems and whatever challenges you're going through. Because when it comes to solving those huge challenges in your head, diba? Like, I don't know if you agree with this, but there's more often than not, like, the ways to deal with those problems isn't by directly dealing with it, but it's by indirectly dealing with it. Like, what other things in my life, what other tiny adjustments and changes can I do in my life to ultimately help me? This
No,
is a
yeah,
deep
definitely.
talk
I
pala,
agree.
shit.
It's all about how you choose to react to these things,
Yeah.
I'd say, right? Like, I mean, if you're anxious and you stay anxious because you're not doing anything about it, malamang you're gonna be anxious talaga. But if you're anxious and you look at it from a different point of view, like, look at it as something positive. Like, if I do this, if I move to the beach, this could happen for me. Or, it could be, I could deal with this problem so much differently than I
But
would
it has to
here.
be the potential. It has to be an if.
Yeah, you
Like
have
it,
to be willing.
yeah, and but then what I think though, and it's not it shouldn't be, it's not a sure thing. Like, don't expect it to be a sure thing that once you change your setting,
No,
it's gonna,
yeah,
it's more of like, we'll see. Let's see if this shit works.
exactly.
We'll
Because
only know if you try it
why
out.
worry about what you can't control?
Yeah.
Diba? Like, I get that there's anxiety. Like, I get it too. Like, I always think far into the future. But I always tell myself, why worry about what I can't control?
Yeah. I think this is why,
And why?
go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Ladies first.
No, but yeah, like, that's basically it. Like, I'll deal with it when I have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because if I try to deal with it before, it can go so many different ways by the time I actually have to deal with it. So why not just let life take its course, and I'll deal with it when I have to.
Yeah. There's a lot of rewiring I had to do. Kasi related to that. Kasi when I hear that whole I'll deal with it when I deal with it, you said that you were saying you were describing yourself as the personification of bahaga na. It has a very negative connotation and that's a very like, oh, it has a very irresponsible, parang, oh, you're not planning your, because I was very
I
annoyed, like
know.
everything I have to plan, but then I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I grew up that way where I was planning everything, like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
everything calculated, but you can only parang, I think the plans are just an artificial thing to sort of
Exactly.
ease yourself, ease your anxieties. That instead of making these plans to supposedly like I don't even have a 5-year plan. Like if I'm gonna make a 5-year plan to make me sleep at night, if
Neither
that's
do
my
I.
solution, if that's my proposed solution, that I will make a plan to ease my anxiety, I think it's I think it's a more powerful tool to make yourself okay with the like with the randomness of it, with the whole shit, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's being okay with that rather than making a plan to sort of ease that worry that you have when you deal with those
No,
things.
I agree. I agree 100%. Because you know, as much as you try to plan everything, it probably won't go as planned. And if it does, great. But I feel like that's always the situation, right? Wala talagang guarantee.
Yeah. I think this
Even
is
if you
why
plan it.
like art is pretty. I want to ask you about your art. Art is pretty therapeutic. Like I
Mm,
noticed that if connected to how when you deal with your problems, you can solve your challenges and problems by indirectly solving it. Like honestly, if I'm too much in my head and I'm gonna take time to, I don't know, play the guitar for a few minutes or play basketball a bit, like even if that has nothing to do with whatever challenge I'm facing, going through that parang puts me in the headspace to be able to go back and deal with my problems more. And with your art, I know you're a very artsy person. Like if you look at your Instagram, like there you can tell honestly, you can tell some, not all, not everything about a person, but you can kind of vibe out
yeah, you
some
can
stuff about the
engage with
person.
it.
You're a very artsy person. But specifically, you do tattoos also. Like I wanna ask, I wanna talk about it just a little bit. Like what are you a tattoo artist? Is this a hobby?
No,
Is
no,
this
no.
a
It's just a hobby.
uh-huh?
Um, my friends do hand poke tattoos. I have a few for my friends.
Uh-huh.
And during one of the sessions, she was like, "Do you want to keep your needle? Do you want to try it on yourself?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, yes, I
Are
want to
these ones
try
on
it."
your arm?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first one? Do you draw on yourself?
No, I don't. I usually doodle
Uh,
on my journal.
and then someone does it for you.
Yeah. I have one, two. This was my first ever hand poke.
Okay.
This
There you
tree.
go. It's very islandy. Very on
Yeah.
brand. Sorry,
Yeah,
when
a
I say
lot of
on
my
brand, I think you're
tattoos
just being
are
true to
like,
yourself. You're just being true to yourself. So I
yeah,
meant. I just I don't know. Maybe that's the
they're
term
very
that I'm
on
used
brand.
to. Very on brand. Very on
No,
brand.
yeah, I get it. No, no worries. But a lot of my tattoos are like, they revolve around nature
Mm-hmm.
because I love nature.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my first hand poke was this. When I first got this, I didn't think at all that I would get into it. And
That's what everyone
then,
says.
yeah, right. And then I did it on myself, and I was just like, shit, like I want to do this to my friends. Like it's very fun. Um, I learned a lot from it. Like when it comes to like tattooing, because I have to be very patient, and to be honest, I'm not a very patient person.
Uh-huh.
So it's Kiko, my child is like, meow,
Mm-hmm.
mom, let me out. I'm not a very patient person, but when it comes to tattooing, kasi you have to be patient
Mm-hmm.
because like as you keep wiping out, you know, the stencil goes away and like it looks kind of weird in the beginning because it's just dots and you kind of panic because you're
Like,
like, oh
oh
my
shit,
gosh,
it's
like
gonna suck.
what if it doesn't turn out this
It's a
way?
permanent
But as
mistake.
you, yeah, right. But as you keep going, like the piece itself starts forming and then you start like relaxing a bit and you're like, okay,
Uh-huh.
it's all going
Uh-huh.
as planned. But yeah, you have to be patient, and that's definitely something I learned from
Yeah.
tattooing.
And
But it's
speaking of
fun. It's super
relaxing,
therapeutic.
I could see in the corner of your eye the inner mother inside. Do you want to get your cat first or something?
Yeah,
I'm getting stressed for you.
Okay, I'll let you out, but you have to behave.
I hear that when you get a tattoo, parang you're gonna tuloy na yun. You're just gonna keep getting and getting.
Yeah.
That's why I tell myself. I've been telling myself this a few months ago, and I think I'm gonna push through with it. I think next year I'll probably get a tattoo na. Like having talked to people with tattoos and understanding it more. I kind of eradicated the whole, kung may tattoo madumi. There's that There's that whole,
Yeah.
it's a very permanent thing that I feel like it's kind of scary. Going back pala, I was saying that if I get a tattoo and if I go that path, I'm just gonna keep getting tattoos again and again. My fifth one has to be a dick. Like has to be a tiny drawn dick. Kasi every time I face a blank canvas, like I don't know how many notebooks of classmates, how many blackboards, biglang the teacher just, there's a dick. Or you know those sliding, we had that classroom before with like a sliding whiteboard on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
So you can hide something So while the whiteboard's covered, so like I'm thinking like I want to be true to myself. Like if I reach five, that has to be a dick. But anyway,
do it.
Do you how do you deal with the permanence of that's the other part for me. It's like, this is gonna be with you till you die. Like there are a lot of things that are gonna be with me till I die. Like if I fuck up a relationship or a friendship, like that shit's gonna stay with me till I die, which is pretty bad. But
I
reason,
get that. I think that's just the beauty of it. You know, even if you don't like it, there's still that memory and that experience of having gotten a tattoo and, you know, what you were doing, who you were with when you got it. Because, like, I mean, a lot of people ask, like, oh my God, what does your tattoo mean? Blah, blah, blah. My tattoos don't mean shit. I just think they're cute. Well, some of them have meaning. But a lot of the times I just like having them. And I think like with the stick and poke, for example, to me, it's like the experience I shared with the artist and, you know, that connection that we now have because their work will be forever part of me. Yeah.
That's you living your art.
Yeah. That's just the beauty of it. I mean, like, for example, like with your life, when you make mistakes, you cannot undo those mistakes, but you can learn from them.
Yeah.
And you'll be different from who you were when you made that mistake. It's kind of just like that. It's like a piece of you. Yeah. And I think that's great. Like, don't get me wrong. I have some tattoos that I regret.
There you go. I was about to ask. How do you deal with that? Like, baka someone like you with a friend, you're not friends now, or I don't know, you don't like how the tattoo turned out.
Yeah. Like, there's some tattoos that didn't turn out so well, but I'm just like, you know what? I still love them. I still think that they're, you know, it's a great piece. I picked it out myself. I went to this place. I got it done.
There's a story in the memory.
Yeah, diba? Like,
have you ever messed up with a tattoo though? Like when you because I know you give tattoos to your friends. Like have you ever messed one up?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
I'm very optimistic. Not yet. Okay. Now to close this well, we'll play a quick game. If you're aware of Tito Boy, if you're familiar with Tito Boy, he has FausTalk. But here on the One podcast, it's FausTalk. So same shit.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you this or that or a blank question, and then just answer honestly, top of mind, no right or wrong. But then I would ask for the story of some. Okay, are you ready?
Okay.
First question.
Okay, I'm ready.
This one might be tough for you. The first one. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Okay, actually that was easy, no? Because that's your favorite cat.
Yeah.
So why do you have a dog though? Why do you have a dog?
Papa is my first child ever. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love dogs. I think they're just so dependent kasi that I didn't realize that until I got a cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Bad Wi-Fi or bad traffic?
Bad Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's it, no? Living in the beach, it's... I think, if it's one or the other... Yeah, I went through my first traffic yesterday. We had to go QC. I'm living QC to Makati.
Bad no. Bad no.
Nah, not
Bad.
that, not something I loved about being back in the.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
yeah. Kasi at least bad wifi, madami ka pang magagawa. Pero bad traffic, nasa kotse ka lang. Wala kang magagawa.
Oh, excuse me though. I have to say, with this podcast, hey, if you are listening to this stuck in traffic, thank you, traffic. Like there are things. Although I would say, yeah, I get it. I'd also go for
Right?
the bad Wi-Fi over the bad traffic. Favorite thing about living by the beach?
Work-life balance.
Do you believe in work-life balance?
Yes, I do.
There's this other train of thought there, which it's not work-life balance. It's more of like holistic living. Because if you do, I heard that if you're doing work-life balance, you are separating the two. You're separating it as if like when you do work, that's a totally different part of your life, and then your life part is a different part.
Interesting.
Like there's this new. Have you heard of this holistic? I think that's the term.
No, I
Holistic
haven't.
living.
But that part makes more sense. Yeah.
That's how I deal with my. I think that's my approach more now because as a freelancer, and I think I told you this. I have like 4 or 5. It's like I'm carrying 4 side jobs. Instead of feeling it like, oh shit, there's so many incomplete stuff in my life. It's like negago. Like that's just how the pieces,
Yes.
the puzzle pieces fell in my life. So holistic living.
No, yeah. Now that you bring that up, now I'm like, yeah, because my work and my lifestyle actually go hand in hand. Like in order for me to create, I would prefer to be around nature because that's where I feel most inspired and most motivated. So yeah, now that you bring that up, I did not see that way.
Ooh, I'm glad that you picked up something here.
Yeah.
How about what is the biggest challenge about living by the beach?
Minsan brownout, mainit.
Shit. Was there in your short stay there? Was there like do you remember like the most hassle experience you've had there? I don't know if it was, well, okay, pwede brownout, but like what if it was a brownout that lasted for like 3 days, or I don't know, like di gumagana yung flush. Like, do you remember what was the biggest basic challenge, and then how did you get over it?
Yeah, there was this one night I first moved into this place.
Oh, your first night.
I didn't make ipon the water in the balde.
Okay.
Before nighttime.
Ooh,
and I went
mistake.
to the beach and I swam in the ocean. And then I got home and I was like, I switched the faucet and I'm like, oh shit, wala nga palang tubig sa gabi.
Oh, as in
and so I was like, as in wala talaga.
Wow, may curfew.
Yeah.
God.
And so I had to I just dried myself up. This is nasty. Sorry to whoever's listening to this, but it's true. It's life. Yeah, I just changed my clothes and I waited till the next morning.
Okay. You do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do. A rookie mistake, I would say.
Right?
I don't understand though. Have you learned why the water only works when the sun is up or something?
Because during the typhoon, parang one of the dams, something happened with the dam. And so, yeah, there's only water from a certain time.
Is that a goat?
Cutoff is 5 feet. Yeah, there's a goat. I'm outside kasi.
It's not your goat.
There's a lot beside.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, but at least
bro, I cannot handle another animal.
Yeah. Yeah, there's 3. And if you're watching the YouTube version of this and you see a white wall, because you're back onto a white wall, we're talking about how you live by the beach. I think you can believe by now. I don't think you're gonna randomly hear a goat, no, in your neighbor's backyard. Interesting. All right, next question. Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Do you not like mountains, or you just love the beach more?
I just love the beach.
Yeah. There's a difference when you see the mountains.
I feel like it's a mountains it's cold.
Okay.
Or it can get cold, and I don't like the cold. And also going up a mountain is
hassle. Yeah.
Hassle.
Mas lalo kang tubig dun, I'd say.
Yeah.
Mountains.
Yeah.
Baka. Okay. This one. Last few. Plan your day or go with the flow?
Go with the flow. Well, depends.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yes, but no.
But I usually just go with the flow.
Do you plan your day out?
depends on like if I have a lot to do that day, then I will plan my day out.
Yeah.
But if I don't have anything super important, I usually just like go.
Do you feel more fulfilled on the days where you're busy compared to the days where you don't have to make plans because there's not much naman to do for the day?
Sorry, what did you say? I kind of lost you.
Do you feel more fulfilled on the days where you're so busy? I notice I have those days where a dami kong mga work stuff and then I feel fulfilled compared to a day where I'm supposed to rest at that day, but parang I don't feel as fulfilled.
Yeah, definitely. When I'm busy, I feel more fulfilled.
Yeah, I think it's just human.
It's like, I mean, I like chilling and all. I mean, it's great, but sometimes it's just like, damn, what am I doing with my life?
Yes. With that whole chilling thing, I love chilling. That's one of my favorite activities, chilling. But how I look at it now is I need to work, I need to get busy and put in the hours so that not I want to make my parents proud. Yeah, I want to make money, I want to be successful. But now how I do it is I want to chill great. Like when you chill on the weekend after a week full of work, sarap. Compared to you just chill because you want to chill. Like, boy, it's still chill.
You feel like you've earned it.
Yeah, it's a chill with a capital C compared to just like, chill lang in between stuff to do. Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Ooh, okay. Talk to me because I'm a sunset addict. What is it about the sunrise over the sunset?
I love waking up early because usually here I wake up at like 5:30.
Okay.
So it's kind of dark pa. And I love watching the sun come up. I'm a morning person. So to me, when the sun's coming up, I feel like, okay, my day's about to start. Like, and if I can catch it just when it's about to come up, I feel like, okay, yeah, I'm starting with the day.
Yeah. Then you start to do the favorite pose. Is this your favorite pose? The
no naman. Well, yeah. I mean, because the sun's there. So.
It's a go-to.
And then when the shadows, yung saktong shadows.
Oh. Yeah. Ang ganda yun. Profesh. Okay. All right. This one. Two more. Advice to people who are thinking, should I move to the beach?
Yeah. If you feel like you can do it and if it's something you want to do, then go for it.
Okay. Sorry, two more pala. I thought of one just now. Connected to that. How about people who are thinking, because context for this next question. In all my years going to school, I always wanted to, I hate school. I don't like studying. But never did I regret graduating. Okay. So what would be your advice to people who are thinking of doing the same thing and leaving college? Kasi there's a line that you left it and you're like, but I'm leaving it because I'm gonna go figure my shit out and do this. But it could, but someone else who's listening to this might be like, sige, leave na rin. Pero baka mali yung parang reason why he's doing it. So what would be your advice to those questioning that path?
Be prepared. If you're gonna do it, be prepared. Because you're gonna quit. You don't know what's gonna happen. It could go, well, and it could go really bad. So I think it's just a matter of being prepared, not in terms of, getting a job, not just that. Be prepared emotionally.
There you go.
Because there is going to be a lot of overthinking and a lot of anxiety that comes with it. But to me, kasi, as long as you show up and, you're prepared and you're willing to go through all these challenges that come along with the dropping out, then you should be okay, right? As long as you believe in yourself. I think that's so important, to believe in yourself, to believe that you can go through this. You will conquer all your fears.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How I like to say that everything, like you have gone through everything you had to go through. Like every single challenge, every single problem, every worry you've had from the day you're born up to today, you've gone through them already. So like give yourself some credit. Like you kind of know how to figure it out. And so someone who didn't do the college path and someone who went to the college path, let me tell you, listener, that you will have to, no matter what you do, man, you're gonna question your shit and be like, shit, guys, am I doing the right thing? Whether or not there's a degree, whether or not you have a job, like you are gonna question. You're gonna have those overthinking and anxious moments.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Last question. This is something I've been doing with my guests recently, and I wanna continue this practice. Please recommend a song to me.
A song?
Yeah. You don't have
Um,
to be like, what's a song Anton would like? Just anything.
Hold On by the Internet.
Hold On by the Internet. I think I know something about. I think I know one. So Hold On by the Internet. Okay, I'm gonna check this out later. All right. Anyway, that's it. That's all my questions for now. But honestly, I do want to get to talk to you again in the future. I want to see because this is just 1 month in living in La Union.
Yeah.
It's a few years from the leaving the college path. Like, I don't. I'm really. I'm honest when I say that. You're one of the first people I've heard who took this path, and at least from my eyes, it seems like you're doing fine, diba? You're working, you're modeling, you're living by the beach, you got your
I
pets
hope
with
so.
you. I'm excited to see where your journey and your adventure
No, yeah, same.
leads you
We
to.
have to check back on this like a couple of months or years from now.
Yeah.
And hopefully by then you'll be in the beach.
Okay, just to share up, I'm still questioning it. Honestly, I kind of fuck with the city life. Like the beach kasi
Yeah.
I have to be so here kasi I have to be independent. I'm starting to have to be more independent na. Like I'm gonna live with my brothers na soon. I'm not with my parents. Like I have a dog to take care of. Like there are more real responsibilities coming up that I think at least right now. When I say right now, just this year. I don't know, baka in Feb, iba na naman yung mind ko. But the beach is like my vacation place. It's more of like my diba, unwind. Like when I'm there, I don't want to work. If I live there, I gotta figure out how to be productive and shit. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's all.
Thank you so much for having me. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous.
Dude, it's fine. I feel like this
But
is
it was so fun. It was kind of just like us chatting. I loved it.
Let's see what I gotta do. And this is the least of your worries. I mean, if you're nervous about a conversation, a podcast conversation, I don't know how you're gonna deal with everything else that you're doing. I think that's the part that's more naka-nervous and shit. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, thanks again. All the best. I hope you have electricity soon, and don't forget to
I know.
fill up your water tonight.
Thanks, man. Take care over there.